what's good? When this is at 9:18 in Clutch, and I want to talk about some exciting NBA news that just came out today as the NBA just announced the All-Star starters for both conferences, for the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. So I'm going to start off with the Eastern Conference and just give out my thoughts on, like, who's been snubbed, who I believe personally should go in, and then just give my analysis on each of these players right here below. So with that being said, let's start off. So the Eastern Conference starters, we got Cade Cunningham, who obviously is more than deserving of being an all-star starter. I mean, just the fact of what the Pistons are doing, that they are #1 in the Eastern Conference when we were not expecting them to take this big of a jump. I mean, like, it's still crazy to me how, like, just a couple years ago, we were talking about how they were the worst team in the NBA because they had the infamous 28-game losing streak, which was the most in the NBA history. And they looked like a team with no clear direction. They didn't know what's going on. They were just horribly losing. But Cade Cunningham, he just kept himself focused, did the best he could, and like they've been progressing. As last year, they were in the playoffs having a dogfight against the New York Knicks in a very tough series, and showing that, hey, we belong here. We're just as good, and whatever happened in the past was in the past, and now we're doing really good. And him, like, I did read a report that, like, him and Jalen Duren, they went like out camping to a private secluded area during the offseason so they can build like team camaraderie and chemistry so they can work together. And it's really paid off because now, like, the Pistons, they are strongest team in the East when we all thought it was going to be either the Knicks or the Cavaliers, which I will get to the Cavaliers very shortly. And it's just very impressive overall with what Cade Cunningham's doing, just showing his true leadership skills and his true, like, development and being a legitimate star in the NBA. So very proud of him and obviously quite deserving. Next on the list, we have Tyrese Maxey for the 76ers. And very similar situation to Cade Cunningham and the Pistons, but not as extreme, because I remember last year, the Sixers, they were just like a team that was like dead on arrival because Joel Embiid had like a million injuries going on with himself. Paul George, was his first year in the Philadelphia 76ers, signing a huge, massive contract, but he didn't play too well and didn't play too often. And that season, I remember a lot of people were talking about how washed he was. And the Sixers, they were just like, they just fell apart. I mean, early on, like they were doing okay at first, but then the season was just a complete wash and a waste. But Tyrese Maxey, he's always been that one shining piece on that 76ers squad. And what I like about him is that, like, he never put his head down, like, in terms of like just pouting his way or causing trouble. He always kept focused, stay on the grind. And he even called out Joel Embiid, who was the definitive leader for the 76ers. Tyrese Maxey, like, hey, hey, you got to show up to meetings as well. You got to start doing this more, holding him accountable. And established all-star Tyrese Maxey was doing that to Joel Embiid, showing that the legit fight in him, that passion. And he's known for, like, just, I've seen him play, like I watch, I'll go to like 76ers games, like whenever they face the Heat and or Magic, and just like, he just has that consistent energy. Like, whenever he plays, like, he's always like constantly running up and down. Like, he's always got like the most hustle, the most passion, the most heart on that floor out of everybody from both teams that are playing. And like, I look at him like, man, this guy's gonna be a legit star. Like, and this was back in like 2023, 24, and then last year, like, I was just seeing him, like, he just always has that energy, just like that constant spark, that passion that none of the other guys on the court really have. And like, I knew he was gonna like really elevate himself, and now we're starting to see it come to fruition because Tyrese Maxey, now he's the clear leader for the 76ers squad, along with the VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, and Joel Embiid, like, when he's playing, still playing good. So I'll give Tyrese Maxey a lot of credit right here, very deserving of that. Jalen Brunson, another player who got selected as an all-star starter. Really great for the New York Knicks. The Knicks are, like I mentioned earlier, they are one of the favorites to come out of the East because they have like 4 legitimate all-star quality players between him, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm not saying all 4 of them are all-stars, but I'm saying they are capable, all 4 of them, of being an all-star if they choose to, if that makes sense. So, and the Knicks right now, they are 3rd in the East. So obviously somebody has to represent the Knicks in the starting lineup, and who better than Jalen Brunson, who ever since he got to the New York Knicks, I mean, he is turned around that franchise, gave them a new identity. They are like legitimate threats. Like I remember when I was a kid, I watched Carmelo Anthony, and I was very happy. You know, like me being from New York, I was like, oh, you know, got a star right here. But he did run into the Miami Heat, the Heatles with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, so he didn't really have a chance too much to shine. But when seeing Jalen Brunson, though, I mean, like he's elevated past like Carmelo Anthony's success, where they were just like maybe, you know, a first round exit team, sometimes maybe the second round. Like Jalen Brunson, he's capable of like leading them even higher. Like they have a higher ceiling, because I remember the Knicks, like in between the later Carmelo years and then before Jalen Brunson got there, they had nothing going for them. Like they were the laughing stock of the NBA. Everybody was getting on them like crazy, just how terrible, mismanaged they were. But ever since Jalen Brunson came to the New York Knicks, because he chose to be there, they've just been like a legitimate, respected franchise. And I believe it's only due that he gets his All-Star nod as a starter. So I'm very proud for him. Speaking on that, another starter for the Eastern Conference is Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics. I mean, like, I made a video on this recently, but like, just gotta say it again. I don't know how the Celtics, in a throwaway year, no Drew Holiday, no Kristaps Porzingis, no Jason Tatum for the season, out with an ACL injury, and yet the Celtics are still number 2 in the East at the time of recording. That is incredible. Like Jaylen Brown, he's on an all-star, like a potential MVP like level this season. It only makes sense, because I would expect the Celtics just throw away the season, just like, okay, let's just like, you know, we got rid of a lot of salary, you know, let's try to like save some money, maybe get a good draft pick, so when Tatum comes back, we'll be ready, fully loaded, let's go get this done, you know. But no, they're like, we're still going to compete, we don't care. All right, you know, well, we're sad that Jason Tatum's gone. All right, we had to get rid of some pieces, you know, because we can't pay them. Let's make the most of what we got. I'm just genuinely impressed with that. And last but not least, of course, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who he obviously deserves it. Probably one of the most talented, skilled players out of everybody there, because of his athleticism, his strength, his ability, just like obviously right there. And the one glaring thing about it compared to the rest of the previous 4 guys I mentioned, he's the only big man. So they have to have a big man somewhere, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best one out there. And it just goes to show how much they don't emphasize the center position, because Giannis, he's technically a power forward, and they don't have a single center on this list. So it just goes to show how guard dominated and how the centers aren't keeping up as much, at least on the Eastern Conference side. So those are your all-star starters for the East. But one name that did stick out to me that I was like, how is he not involved, was Donovan Mitchell. Because Donovan Mitchell, I mean, like I mentioned, I mean, the Cavs are one of the favorites in the East, but they haven't been doing that good so far, because at the time of recording, I mean, the Cavs are the 7th seed, so they still technically make the playoffs, but as a play-in team. And he's averaged 29.2 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists, while shooting 48.9% from the field. Like, that's really good. But, you know, like the other 4 guys, the 4 guards, I mean, they're no worse than 5th. So looking at that, I mean, somebody had to be left out, because the guard position was too talented that they had to put 4 guards, okay, in the starting lineup for the Eastern Conference. You know, so they tried everything they could, but like Donovan Mitchell, I guess the only argument against that is because like he's the 7th seed. That's the only thing I could think of, but you know, he's just as deserving. But on a personal note, for the reserves though, I mean, like Donovan Mitchell, he'll get in the All-Star team. I mean, that's not a debate, but someone who I am campaigning for to make the All-Star team this year is for Norman Powell, the Miami Heat. He's been saying this year that he's trying to, you know, be an all-star, and he's deserving so, because he's leading the Heat, you know, the most he can, and he's helped revitalize his team in a team that like hasn't had Tyler Hero for most of the season. He's also like been elevating his game. He's having a career year, even better than last season with the Clippers. So I want, and I'm campaigning for Norman Powell to be a first-time all-star to represent the Miami Heat. So let's hope for that, and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you guys are happy with this team, or who do you personally believe should be a starter, who should not? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, please like and subscribe. I certainly love and appreciate every single last one of y'all. God bless and talk soon.